at the introduction to educational audiology, and we had just defined the terms. Audiology, we have defined the term on speech production, speech perception. We had also defined the term hearing. We had defined the term amplification. We had also defined the term otoscope and decibels. And all these terms, we say that audiology refers to the science of hearing and the study of hearing, or the hearing process. We say that speech is an ordered combination of sounds which are expressed orally and they are received by the ears. While speech perception is a process whereby the brain receives and interprets the speech information. So remember, after speaking, when you're speaking to someone else, then the one you are speaking to will hear, but it is upon the brain that is under the speech perception. It is upon the brain to receive and interpret that speech information. We also talked about hearing loss. We talked about the hearing loss. I don't know whether my volume is now okay. We talked about hearing loss as a term used to describe any deviation from the normal hearing, regardless of the severity. We were able to discuss about amplification, and we say that it is the making of sound to be louder using a hearing instrument or a hearing aid. We have the otoscope, which is an instrument used to examine the outer ear. And then we also talked about the decibel, which is now a unit for measuring and describing intensity or loudness of sound. We talked about the 6 branches of audiology. We also talked about sound, the conduction of sound, and the properties of sound. We did not talk about the properties of sound. So what are some of the properties of sound? Just before we look at the questions above there, that is number 2, 3, and 4. Before we look at the slide with the answers, what are some of the 5 properties of sound? And remember, we have been asked to describe. Describe 5 properties of sound.
We have frequency.
Yes, frequency. Are you able to tell us something about it, William?
It's the number of vibrations per second.
Yes, carry on. Frequency is the number of vibrations per second. Someone else?
Leo nang'ang'ana kusikia emoji.
You're not able to see? Or my voice is low today? William? Hello, Fildema.
Yes, Pascal.
Are you able to hear me well, or my voice is low?
Martin, I can hear you from very far. Imagine I'm struggling to hear.
Is it still far? Is it still far?
No, you are okay now.
Okay. All right, so let's carry on. Frequency, what are the other properties of sound?
Hello, Pascal.
Yes.
If we say time.
If we say time, eh?
Yeah, as a property of sound.
Okay, time.
What the?
Someone else, properties of sound.
Pitch.
Yes?
Pitch.
Speech
Pitch.
or pitch.
The number of vibrations per sound that the ear can perceive.
Okay, pitch. She has talked of the pitch. Someone else?
Hello, Pascal.
Yes.
Can that frequency, is it the same as speed?
No?
Speed is also on the another property.
Is there speed? We talked about the pitch.
Okay.
Na mara frequency haya.
Josephine, we can't hear you well.
Imekataa kurudi.
Right. So it seems we have exhausted them because I don't see any other hand. So we talked about the branches of audiology, and we were able to mention about educational audiology. We were able to also mention about pediatric audiology, the geriatric audiology, the industrial audiology, neural audiology, and then we also talk about the clinical audiology. And so, what is this pediatric audiology? We say that it involves identifying hearing impairments in infants and the management of the hearing loss. So when we talk about the pediatric, it goes hand in hand with the identification of the hearing impairments in infants and the management of the hearing loss. And so referrals for pediatric audiology are made for a number of reasons. Now, who is an infant? Plus, who is an infant?
Infant. Can we refer to it as a baby between 0 to maybe 3 months?
A baby between 0 to 3 months. Class, the rest, what are you thinking about infants?
To 2 years. From birth to 2 years.
But to 2 years, somebody in the chat box has said a newborn.
And Pascal,
Yes.
if we say a child between 4 to 8 years,
4 to 8 years. Now when you wamezaliwa mara hiyo wanaitwa
babies,
Yani, the newborn between 0 to 6 years. That is why
Yes.
I remember it was talked about sometime when we were learning.
0 to
6 years, hivi.
Mhm.
0 to 6 years, right? Someone else, who is an infant? Hello, who is an infant?
What?
Who is a baby? And who is a child?
Koroga uji upande inaitwa clockwise. Wacha kurudi anti-clockwise, una confuse brain.
Who is a baby?
What?
Young.
A young infant.
See,
Not
6
one.
to 8 years.
Between
6 to 8 years. Ama mi sijui. Kama infant ni between 0 to 6. Then, lakini si infant pia ni baby ama? Because we refer to it as a baby after birth.
and an infant.
It only becomes an infant when it is still between 0 to 6 years.
Okay. Let's carry on.
Kizungu
Um,
ilikuwa wacha tu.
Then we have another one here called geriatric audiology, which is the area of audiology concerned with the hearing impairment in old age. Sasa ile mtu, when does this old age, when is it being counted? Tunasema mtu sasa ni mzee. When is it being counted? At what age do we say that a person is in his or her old age?
60 to 65 years of age.
That is on the retirement line, eh?
Mm.
Okay. Josephine,
Yes.
I hope you are not on that line.
Hey, Owada, I am as young as yesterday. Hey, I have no contract with the age.
Okay. So this is a type of audiology that is concerned with the hearing problems or hearing impairments in old age, in the life of those who are considered to be old. And we have the clinical audiology again, which is involved in the evaluation and management of auditory problems through medical examination and treatment or intervention. Then we have educational audiology. Now, this is the one that we are going to deal with so much or greatly, which is the study of hearing problems and how they affect learning. We are studying the hearing problems and how they affect learning. So we also have the industrial audiology, which is now the study of the effect of noise on persons in various environments. And it is specifically concerned with how persons hear in excessively noisy places, the effects of such noise on hearing, and how to control it. Then we talk about the neural audiology, which is the study of the problems affecting the auditory nerve. And any problem of the auditory nerve will also affect the perception of sound. Now, you will realize that not just the auditory nerve. Wengi umewahi wasikia wakisema ti mtu ni akili. So remember, when the brain is having a problem, maybe as a result of some sicknesses, there's some sicknesses like stroke that that will interfere with almost the whole human system. But you realize that this that affects the brain, they affect the person in the highest sense and in the highest magnitude. Because if you have seen something, if you have heard something, all the signals, the impulses must go to the central nervous system for interpretation and therefore for the action to be initiated immediately. And then we also, we talk about sound. This seems to be too tiny to be read. Yes, we say that sound can be defined as any pressure vibration that can be detected by the human ear. Any pressure vibration, any pressure variation that can be protected by the human ear. And we also have the properties of sound, which we say properties of sound include the frequency, the pitch, the intensity of that sound, the amplitude, and also somebody mentioned something to go with time. So how does the conduction of sound take place? Remember this question, we tried to beat around the bush and we were not able to get very clear way. So remember that the pinna, which is also called the earlobe, it collects sound waves and directs them through the external auditory canal to the eardrum. Oh, yes, Hannah. Somebody in class is asking, what is the difference between pitch and intensity? Please, can we help her? What is the difference between pitch and intensity?
The pitch is the lowness or the highness of the sound, while intensity is the loudness of the sound.
Intensity, loudness, and the pitch is?
Lowness or highness.
Lowness or highness. Thank you. So the pinna or the earlobe collects sound waves and directs them through the external auditory canal to the eardrum. So when the sound waves reach the eardrum, they cause the eardrum to vibrate. When the sound waves reach the eardrum, they cause it to vibrate. And in turn, the vibrations cause the three bones. Remember, we talk about the three bones, the ossicles, the malleus, and incus, and steps in the middle ear to vibrate. And so the vibrations of this, of the ossicles sets the oval window to vibrate. And this is picked by the fluid-filled inner ear. So what is the name of this fluid that is filling the inner ear? No one has answered that. So once they reach the inner ear, again, they are turned into electrical energy. So there is electrical energy again in the ear. And then they pass from the inner ear to the brain through the auditory nerve. And so after that, what's going to happen is that once the information has been passed to the inner ear to the brain, from the inner ear to the brain through the auditory nerve, the interpretation, the processing of that information has to take place in the brain, either for immediate action to take place or for a planned ignoring. But it is very important. It is very, very important that when we are talking about the ear, we understand how the sound waves travel. So state 4 types of hearing loss. State 4 types of hearing loss. Yes?
Yeah.
State 4 types of hearing loss. We learned this in module 001.
Pascal, maybe I can try.
Yes?
There is mild, moderate, severe, and profound hearing loss.
Mild, moderate, severe, and profound. Mild, moderate, severe, and profound. So those ones make the hearing loss. And what are the two ways through which you can you can make sounds louder to the hearing impaired? Two ways through which you can make
Use of hearing.
use of hearing aids. Use of hearing aids. What else? Which other way? Which other way?
Where?
Reducing sound noise.
Reducing background noise. That is very true. And also somebody has said shouting. You shout, you speak to these people at a very high tone. But that can only also be done depending on the magnitude of the nature of the severity of the severity of the severity of the hearing impairment in the person. And then the other question is describe 3 different types of sounds.
Simple sounds.
Complex and
Yes, Abraham.
Simple, complex.
We have simple sounds, we have complex, and we have reverb. I don't know the echo.
All right, reverberation. Now, we have been asked to describe. She has talked about the simple, the complex, and reverberation. So somebody to give us, you can pick one and talk about it, please. You pick one, talk about it.
I think, Pascal.
Yes.
When you talk about simple sound,
yes,
this is a sound that is having equal wavelength.
Equal wavelength.
But when you talk about complex sound, this is a sound that is having a varied wavelength.
So
Yes.
the first one, simple, equal, complex, varied.
Yes.
I get you. Someone else, please.
In simple, we can say the sound travels in continuous and even waves.
Continuous and even waves, yes.
In complex, the sound travels in different waves,
Uh-huh.
while the reverberation is the reflection and repetition of sound, aka echo.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So that is on the types of sounds. State 3 ways in which sound behaves while traveling. Behavior of sound when sound is traveling.
Hello, Pascal.
Yes, sir.
We have one way which you call diffraction.
Diffraction
is when the sound bends as it moves over an obstacle.
Sound bending as it moves over an obstacle.
What are the quarter?
Rarefaction.
Yes, talk about it.
It's whereby the air particles moves backwards.
It's whereby
The sounds moves backwards.
whereby the sounds move backwards.
Rarefaction, compression, compress, move forward.
Okay. Name the 3 parts of the ear.
Outer, middle, na inner.
What comprises the outer ear?
Pina.
Pinna.
The auditory canal and the eardrum.
The auditory canal and the eardrum. The pinna, auditory canal, eardrum. You will get a question asking you to explain the parts of the outer ear. Remember, we have talked about the pinna, the auditory canal, and the eardrum. The middle ear comprises of
Is it cavity or something?
Josephine.
Una male something, male,
Malleus.
We have the malleus and
Yes.
inca, malleus, inca,
Incas.
and well, is it stirrup or steps or stirrups?
na hii middle ear cavity.
Middle ear cavity. Malleus, incas, na
Middle ear cavity.
Pascal.
Yes.
I think it is comprising of the ossicles.
Ossicles.
The ossicles are what our friends are talking about, the malleus, the incus, and the staples. It is also having the oval window.
The oval window. What about the outer ear? Oh, we have talked about the outer. What about the inner ear, parts of the inner ear?
I think the inner ear is made up of the fluid and
Yes.
the nerves.
And what is the name of this fluid? And what is the function?
I don't know the name, but I know it is the one that conducts or converts the in the middle ear.
Yes.
There is what you call mechanical, I don't know, mechanical energy. But
Yes.
when it comes to the fluid, when it picks the waves, it changes the waves to what we call electrical, which later on is now picked by the nerves to be taken to the brain so that it can detect the kind of the sound. Yes.
Right. Thank you very much. Yes.
Is that where we had that thing when we were taught about the conchilea? Is it conchilea? Conchilia.
The cochlea.
Conchilea.
Hiyo.
Depending with where you are grown, you are brought up to.
Yes.
Steps ndio. Naona hali steps.
Yeah, we can have a look at it.
Steps iko wapi? Middle ama inner?
Steps it's in the middle ear. Yes.
Okay, so I think we start with that question, the last question there. So 3 parts of the ear. So we have the external ear. This is where we have the pinna. This is where we have the external ear canal. It's also called the auditory canal. And we also have the tympanic membrane or the eardrum. The eardrum. Eardrum. Lakini sijui kwa nini iliitwa hii kitu iliitwa drum. My friend, najua ukiita kitu drum.
Inagongwa na inatoa sound.
Pascal.
Yes.
I think when the sound wave hits on it, it's going to amplify that sound. That's why it is called the eardrum.
Ilipewa jina fani. It's called the eardrum.
Yes.
And then we have the middle ear. So you need to know at least the function of each and every part that we have talked about up there. And then we have the so-called the middle ear, which again, it contains the 3 small bones of the ear, namely the malleus, the incus, and the stems. So remember, I've just mentioned that these 3 bones, they are small bones, but they are entirely found in the middle ear, the malleus, the incus, and the stems. And so you are likely to meet a question. One of the questions I think during the day I saw somewhere was asking, name the 3 bones that are found in the middle ear. In the middle ear. So maybe you can also take it so that you go and we have talked about the malleus, the incus, the steps, but you can go an extra mile. Maybe we expect a question on explain or describe the function of the three bones found in the middle ear. So we don't get into the room na tunaanza kuomba mapema kwa karatasi tunaangalia juu. Unajua mtu kama hajui kitu unaweza jifanya unajua, unaangalia juu where the answers are not there. And then the inner ear and the sensory pathway. So the inner ear is basically made of two structures. These are the cochlear and the vestibular system. The cochlea and the vestibular, system. This makes the so-called the inner ear. But when we talk about the ear, something that I want us to look at, the ear was made in such a way that the one who made it concentrated into very tiny details for the betterment of us. Look at the ear. You will find there is that fluid in the ear, and remember the dust particles sometimes get to the ear, and some dust get to the ear, and when they get there, they are trapped. Because of the fluid that is secreted, and this fluid traps them. And so it is always advisable that you clean your ear. Sometimes, how do we call this dirt that is found in the ear?
What?
Yes, the wax. Sometimes, not even sometimes, research shows that some people are blessed to have very many wax, much of the wax in the ear. And that means, remember the wax also can influence the hearing process in an individual, in a person, when the ear is filled or is full of wax. So it is always advisable that just the same way we brush our teeth, it is advisable that we also check the general cleanliness of the ear. Remember that the ear is supposed to always be clean. Filema, hiyo kitu inaitwa makona koni. Can you pronounce it, Filema?
Makona koni.
Kona colic.
Yes. So some people are said to have been blessed, wako na kubwa hapo kwa masikio. But remember the ear hygiene is very important. Usitumie fungu ya mlango tu ukipata mtu. Mwingine na yeye huwezi muomba kalamu. Kwanza wale wenye akikuomba kalamu anachukua lead anaweka kwa mdomo. Na hiyo lead ndio mwenye kalamu anatumia kusugua nayo masikio ndani.
See, the nearest thing around. The nearest thing around.
Ndio unatumia kusugua sikio.
At
Sasa
least kuliko manyasi huko yenye ujui.
Unajua sikio ikienda mwingine hapa anasema you can use a matchstick ama fedha ya kuku, lakini sasa hii fedha ya kuku inaingia aje? There are those who uses the rubber band. Is it the rubber band really? How do we call it? It's not a rubber band. Is it the ear band? What do we call it? What do we call it? Is it? Wacha niandike hapa. Najua watu wakianza kunyamaza hivi. Earbud. Nimeandika kwa chat box. Is it called the earbud like that? Yes, yeah, the cotton earbud. But it is not free, it has to be bought. Sasa sijui wangapi. I always buy it because of some young tax here, but I don't know when I use it. Yangu ni kama inataka flashing, inagongwa side moja maji inatoa hiyo side nyingine. Then hey, we are time bad.
We started late.
We are time bad. We are time bad. I think tomorrow we will have to wind up with KSL at exactly 9 so that we can start 10 minutes past 9. The 10 minutes allowance between from 9 to 9:10 is enough for us to do some adjustments. Na hii course inaisha. Na itaisha na utamu wake tukiona. Some of these things we will never do again.
Wacha tu.
Josephine.
Kuna ingine ile ya macho. Wacha.
Wacha tu hii kiisha tufanye next exam. Na tunaomba Mungu sana turudi tukasherekee pamoja kwa graduation. Bas. Iishe hivyo. Hakuna mtu tutaulizana maswali jana hii mambo na hii online. Na kama tutaulizana in another level.
Waulize results zimetoka.
Kama teaching practice iliisha last week, man.
Na akina nani hao walienda teaching practice na tujaambiwa tu?
No.
Sisi hatujana.
Sio sisi.
Oh.
There's a group of people because of circumstances hawakuruhusiwa kufanya the next exam the other time. And there are those who again were not allowed to do teaching practice because they were having arrears. So baada ya kulipa arrears, now they have to go and do the teaching practice. So that is the teaching practice results must also go to NEC, waende wafanye compilation ndio hata sisi tupate matokeo.
Wao wana graduate na sisi. Is it complicated yao?
They are not going to graduate with us. Sisi tunapata matokeo for the first we get the results for the first year as they are graduating. Sisi tunapata the results for the first year as they proceed with their graduation. So that means graduation si iko this year. Na sisi tufanye the mtihani hiyo mwezi wa 4, mwezi wa 5, 6, 7 tufanye teaching practice, tungoje matokeo. December hapo to buy down.
Hii course inaenda mpaka mwezi wa 7 next year.
Teaching practice itakuwa wapi? Unless let us not preempt, but unless I see things are likely to work to the positive where the teaching practice may come somewhere before that